Permutations and how to use them. Hi, I'm M. Asif Hussain from KnowHow Academy. What are we going to learn from this video? We are going to learn what is meant by permutations, some real-time examples of permutations, how to use permutations. We are even going to learn what is a factorial with some practical examples. So before directly talking to you, what are permutations with a technical terminology, let me give you some real life examples that you have seen it in your lifetime. So when I talk about the first example, we all might have played this game. So we have, let us consider some 5 chairs and there are 3 people, right? So as per the music, it will be playing it on and we have to roam around the chairs, and as soon as the music stops, we have to sit in the chairs, right? So now what is the probability here? The probability here is that out of 5 people, one person will get 4 chairs to sit, the second person will get 3 chairs to sit. So like this we have the possibilities. Now if I talk to you about a school, in a school, for example, there is a sports competition held, and from that sports competition they have to choose any 3 winners, right? 3 winners. So first, second and third. So let us consider that there are 3 winners. Okay. So what is the probability? So here the condition, the gifts or the awards, the rewards that the school has given to these students are: the first winner will get this much cash prize and some medal. Okay. So second runner up will get one cash prize and some medal. And the third runner-up will also get some cash prize with some medal. Now let us consider the probability. What is the probability here? So let me consider my name Asif. Then let me consider another person named Ajay and another person named called Raj. Okay. So these 3 are the people who won. I'm not telling who is first, who is second and who is third here. Okay. Now what happened here? Now let us see the probability. If Asif is getting the first place, then Ajay might get the second place or the third place, and Raj might get the third place. This is the first probability. Now let us consider the second probability. Ajay might get the first place and Asif might get the second place and Raj might get the third place. This is the second probability. Now what is the another probability? Raj might get the first place, Asif might get the second place, and Ajay might get the third place, right? So here what's happening is we have 6 different ways for these 3 winners. Okay, so in the same way I have given you the example of musical chairs. In the same way there is some another example called heads and tails. Okay, what is the probability? Either I have to get heads or I have to get tails. Okay, only one option I have to choose it. But what is the overall probability? The overall outcome is 2, heads and tails. But what is the preferred outcome? Preferred outcome is only one, which is either heads or tails. Alright. So now let us understand it in some mathematical terminology. These are all the examples that I have given. Let us consider with some mathematical terminology. So what I'm going to do it here, we all might have learned this one in our schooling. Though you come from any field, we learn this in the schooling. So first let us consider there is an element called n. Okay, so n is nothing but n number of elements, many elements. There is no specific number, there is no specific count, there is no specific limit. N, it can be infinite. Okay, so what's happening here? There are n different winners. Let us consider there are n different winners. So what's happening here? When I'm talking the n different winners, then you might get the possible options like this. One is n, then you get the second, for the second person we get n minus 1. As we have, as I'm talking about the 3 winners, 1, 2, 3, Asif, Ajay and Raj. So the first person can get n, the second runner up and the third runner up. So first person will get n minus 1 and the third person will get n minus 2. Okay, n is infinite. There is no specific number or some specific value for this one. So now the permutations, the n number of permutations for this one. If I am talking about the permutations, the n number of permutations for this one. So we can write it in this way: n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 and so on. If I would like to write it in a formula way, then this is like this: n minus 1, n minus 2 and so on up to I get a single digit. Let us consider 1. We call this one as n factorial. We represent factorial with an exclamatory mark. Okay, we call this one as a n factorial, and factorial we represent it in the form of a exclamatory mark. So now my viewers, the point here is, let me give you a simple example. What is meant by n factorial? N factorial is nothing but starting from 1 to n. N is infinite. There is no specific number for it. 1 to n. So if I give you the simple example of a 5 factorial. Now let us consider n is 5. So what is 5 factorial? 1 to 5, right? So 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. So this is what? This is my 5 factorial. If I want to represent a 5 factorial, then I can write it in this way. And always remember, the 0 factorial will be 1. Something to the power of 0 will be 1. In the same way, 0 factorial is 1. When I talk to you about a negative numbers, minus 1, minus 2, minus 15, minus 14, if I am talking this negative numbers, then all these negative numbers we cannot write the factorial. So there will not be any sort of factorial when I am talking about the negative numbers. Okay, so that is one thing. Now, if I still would like to go about, if I still would like to give you some small examples about this factorial, let us talk about this factorial now. So here, what I am going to do, let me show you some formulas and with some examples to better understand what is a factorial and how we have to write these permutations. Okay, right. So now what I am doing, n factorial, if I would like to write n factorial equal to n into n minus 1. Okay, so now for example, let us consider 7 factorial. If I would like to consider 7 factorial, what is 7 factorial? 6 factorial. So 6 factorial is nothing but 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5 into 6. So that is 6 factorial. 6 factorial into 7. This is factorial. Okay. In the same way, let me consider 2 variables or 2 elements. Let me consider 2 elements, n and another one is x. Okay, so n equal to, if I consider n equal to 5 and x equal to 2. Now the formula here is n plus x. N plus x. We might have heard this one, x factorial, n factorial, when we are studying our schooling. N plus x factorial, if I would like to talk about, then the formula for this one is n factorial into n plus 1 into n plus 1 into n plus 2, so on, if I consider like this till n plus x. So this is the formula for n plus x factorial. So now if I would like to talk about n minus x, so you might be getting confused that why these formulas are required. These formulas, if you understand these permutations, then we come up with the combinatorics. Then all these comes under the part of probability. So the reason for learning all these is this will be helpful for us in order to do the statistical part when we are handling a project in data science. Alright, so n minus x. So the formula for n minus x is n factorial divided by, always we need to add 1 to this n minus x. So n minus x plus 1 into n minus x plus 2. Like this we can write up to n. So on up to n. Okay, so these are the formulas. Now let us consider with this example which I have given. Okay, so we have n equal to 5 and x equal to 2. So if I want to write the formula for this one, okay, if I want to write a formula for this one, let us write for n plus x. N plus x. What is n plus x? 7 factorial. Okay, n plus x is 7 factorial equal to what is n? 5 factorial into 5 plus 2. Sorry, for example, it is n plus 1. Alright. First is what? N plus 1. N plus 1 is what? 5 plus 1. 5 plus 1 is 6 into n plus 2. 5 plus 2, which is 7. Okay. So till what? Till x, n plus x, n plus x. Okay. So now the point here is, this is the n plus x factorial example. Now if I would like to explain you n minus x factorial example, what is n minus x? 5 minus 2, 3 factorial, right? So 3 factorial equal to, what is n? N is 5. So 5 factorial divided by n minus x plus 1. So let me calculate it for you. N minus x. So 5 minus 2 plus 1 into 5 minus 2 plus 2 and so on till n. Okay. So now what we will get it here? We will get it 5 factorial divided by 4 into 5. Right? 5 factorial divided by 4 into 5. So we need to understand n factorial formula, n plus x factorial formula, n minus x factorial formula. My dear viewers, I have taken the element or variable as x here. Some people will take a, some people will take p, some people will take k, some people will take z. It's up to them. Okay, but the formula is same. No, but the formula is same. So always remember, n will be greater than x. It might be x, k, a, b, c, it might be any element. N will be greater than x. When n is greater than x, so always see here, when n is greater than x, okay. So let me tell you that there is one small understanding that you have to do. So let me give you a small example. Here, when n is greater than k, then n factorial divided by x factorial. When n is greater than x, n is greater than y, n is greater than a, n is greater than b, you can take any element. Okay. So now when n is greater than x, so n divided by n factorial divided by x factorial. If I would like to talk about this one, the answer will be x plus 1 into x plus 2, x plus 2, like this till n. Okay. So if I take the same example here, n is 5, x is 2, right? So 5 factorial divided by 2 factorial. Okay. So what is 5 factorial? 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. So this is 5 factorial. N into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 divided by 2 factorial, 1 into 2. So let me cancel 1 here and 2 here and 2 here. The answer will be 3 into 4 into 5. 3 into 4 into 5. So this is how you have to calculate all these permutations of these factorials that you are learning it today. That will be really helpful for you when you are doing or handling the projects, and we need to understand it in a statistical way. Now I have just given you some examples. I have explained you what is permutations, what is probability, what is the formula of permutations, what is factorial, how a factorial formula to be written, and so on. In our upcoming videos, we are going to see how to use them in our projects with the technical terminology. So thank you for choosing KnowHow Academy as your source for IT knowledge. We are always here to help you to navigate the tech world. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out. It's been a pleasure sharing this information with you. Stay curious and keep learning.